Hey guys, in this 7-part series we are going to be making a FNAF fan game. This is the second episode and we're going to be making the camera system. If you need help with the code, join my Discord or ask in the comments and I'll reply to you. So, the camera system. Before we start doing that, I want to organize a bit the inspector, so let's make and create empty parent for doors, buttons, and lights. Like so. And I'm going to parent them underneath my map game object. Let's check that everything is still working because sometimes stuff might not work, but yep, this is still working. Okay, so now we are going to be adding the cameras. So right click and look down and find the camera. So let's make this, imagine left hallway camera. And let's put it in over here, raise it a bit up, yep, like this. I'm going to put it over here. Now let's make a second camera, right hallway camera, and let's make one more in this center stage. You can put as many cameras as you need. The more the better your players can see. So this is going to be main hall. But now if you go back to the game view, you're just looking at the main hall. So we're going to be disabling this camera and we're going to go back to the camera. Make an empty parent, call it cameras. If you want, you can also give them like a 3D model of the camera, but that's completely optional. So let's give all of them a camera system. Wait, no, we need an empty game object. Let's call this game manager. And this is going to be having all the scripts that manages the game. So the shift times, the animatronic movement maybe. So let's give it a camera system and make that script. So first thing we need is an array of cameras. An array is basically having a box full of cameras and then you can access all that box. So serialize field, private game object, put in the square brackets to show that it's an array and call it cameras. We need an int called current cam, which is going to be showing which camera you are currently on. So in the start we are going to be going to cameras, open the brackets current cam. This is so we get the camera that it is currently on, dot set active false. And let's look at the update. We're going to be having to make a keybind to open up the cameras in the first place, one to go forward a camera and one to go backwards in a camera. So let's open up a new variable and let's call it key code, and it's going to be called open cameras. We need one for, wait, no, that's all the key codes, because then we can just use the preset horizontal keybinds, so A and D, left and right keys. So we're going to be making an if statement, if open cameras, wait, no, if input dot get key down open cameras, Then we need to open the camera. So serialize field private void, no, not private void, private bool cameras open. And then cameras open equals cameras open not. So if it's true, it becomes false. If it's false, it becomes true. And let's have a private void show camera. So show camera, and let's call that. Now, if cameras open current cam, no, cameras with current cam, put it to true, else false. Now, we also now need a private void go to camera, and we're going to be having an int called progression. So if input.get key dot get access, and this access is called horizontal with a capital H, and it's not equal to 0, because that either gives them, because this is going to be giving either a -1 or a +1, and like the numbers in between, but a 0 means that it's not held. If this happens, we need to call go to camera current cam. Nope, input that got. I need to learn to speak. So if this is equal to 1, 1, else, wait, no, not 1, bigger than 0, go to camera 1. Else if, you definitely need this if, because then even if you're not holding it, it will start calling this, go to camera -1. We actually need to make it camera current camera, but like so if we do it this method, it's going to be either going to the camera 1 or camera -1. So let's do current cam is equal to current cam plus 1 if current cam is bigger or equal to camera's length, because the length is going to be starting from 0 if there's nothing inside it, and like 1 if there's one thing, 2 how you would normally count. But current cam is going to be assuming that there's already something inside, so it starts counting from 0. So we don't want it to be the length of the camera at all. So if it's equal or bigger than the length of the camera, then current cam is equal to 0. So now we can just pass in current cam, and over here pass in current cam. Now here we're going to be making current cam -1. So we want it if it's smaller than 0, current cam is equal to the camera's dot length -1, and we go to the current camera, which then you go to the camera. You actually don't know, we need this, so if you want to make the button display and you click on it, it goes to that camera. So let's then just call show camera. Let's do current camera is equal to progression, like that. So that's the code we need. So let's test it out. So we have 3 cameras, this camera, this camera and this camera. So let's make it space to open up the cameras, and the cameras are turned off by default. And I'm going to also turn them off by default. Let's make a for loop in the start. So for, and double click enter. Cameras.length instead of just length. And cameras i.setActive false. So it instantly makes all the cameras turned off. So we can just leave them turned on if you want. Like so. Now let's hit play. We can see the doors, the lights are turning on, the door is closing, the door is closing. Now press space. Cameras is open. Yeah, it should be open. Nope. So, what's the problem? If cameras is open, camera's current camera is set active to true. But we need access to the main camera, and let's turn that off. So, size field, private, game object, main camera. Let's make main camera turned on by default, and then with show camera, so this is false and this is true, because like how it was like that, you would be hearing this message is telling you is that there are two audio listeners, so if you play a sound it will be played twice. Wait, we need to call it main camera. So boom, no cameras being displayed because we turned them off. My mistake. Okay, so boom, like that. Okay, the displays. And as you realized, not telling you that there are three audio listeners, this is for two reasons. So number one is going to all the cameras. Number two, we're not disabling the old camera. So we need to, when we're going to go to a camera, we need to get camera's current camera and we need to disable it. And then we're going to be getting our new current camera. Wait, we need to do this also back here. Yeah. And now to solve the problem of it pressing it once and it already went to the last one, this is solvable by making a cooldown timer. So let's make a float cooldown timer and then cooldown time. So I'm going to be setting this to be half a second by default. And over here, let's do an if statement. If cooldown timer is smaller than 0, smaller or equals, you can press it. If it is, however, we need to decrease. So cooldown timer minus equals time.delta time. But right now it's not resetting. So inside these, we need to do cooldown timer is equal to cooldown time for both the if statements. Yeah. So like this, if we hit play, okay, boom, 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 and backwards is seemingly not working. So why is that? So current camera -1 if it's smaller than 0. And the current cameras, yeah, this should be working. If it's, oh, if it's also bigger, so if it's smaller than 0, that was my fault. So hit play for the hopefully final time, space, next, 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 and you can go through all of them. If you hit back, like that. You can also do it with your arrow keys, you can do it with a joystick controller, because right now it, I think, should be working completely with controller. The camera look might not be working, but I'll look into that. And now you might be saying, but what if I want to add in, as I said, buttons? So let's make a UI canvas. The canvas immediately adds in an event system which handles events. So let's add an UI button with a text message pro. You need to import TMP essentials. This is basically the way how Unity handles text. So let's make this left, right, main. Let's put the text left hallway, right hallway, main stage. Now hit the 2D view canvas and hit F to focus on the screen. In the canvas scaler, do scale with screen size and use any resolution you like. I usually go by 1920 by 1080. So 1920 1080. And you also want to match the height. So like that it's matching the height mainly, because usually the height is the one to mostly change. So let's make these bigger. Let's go to the text, let's give them an auto size, a black font, and like 100 for the maximum scale they can be. So we need this to be over here. I'm going to put this over here and this to be over here. Let's give them an on-click event from the game manager, the camera system, and it should be over here. No, we set it to a private void. This needs to be a public void here. Public. There. Camera system, go to camera. Now, how do you know which cameras you need? Go to the game manager, 0, 1, 2. So this is 0, 1, and 2. But now it's going to be displayed on your screen all the time. So go back to your game manager. Let's hit, let's make a new variable, call it series field private game object called camera system UI. Let's set this to be false by default, and we turn it on and off depending on if we're showing cameras or not. Let's give them an empty parent, call it camera system UI, and let's pass that to the game manager. So hit play. Okay, space, main stage, right hallway, main stage, left. Yep, and it's working. So that's it for this episode of the tutorial. I'll see you in the next episode where we'll be working on the next part of the game. Make sure to subscribe if you're still here to be notified when I upload any more videos. Bye!